Alright, and welcome to part 3 of my Horror 101 series. This will be my third day leading up to Halloween. And this one is about the known. Now, in the first video we tackled the unknown. The second video we went into doubt. Now this is what we're actually going to inform the player of. This is where I'm going to be more solidly going towards gaming rather than books and movies. But all this stuff works for any media you care to be any media that you're interested in working in. The known is what you show, what you tell, what's revealed to the audience, the player. And you can use the known for a lot of different things. It's one of the largest ways of using information. The first 3 videos are all about information. Either the denial of information, creating the doubt that information is even accurate and useful, and using information to create fear. Alright, now a perfect example of using information to create fear would be things like right-wing Republican types who get their viewers, their readers, their listeners worked up over stupid shit. Okay? They're very good at it. And it is a form of terrorism. You know, and I'm not saying that the left wing doesn't have its own people that do the same thing. It's just usually it's more about the PC stuff. You know, trying to, like the problems with kids wearing guns on t-shirts to school. Which, you know, if it's part of the dress code and they're violating the dress code, yeah, that's a case of both sides doing the exact same thing, just in different ways. Because what the right wing is doing is trying to use that to make people afraid, oh, they're going to take away all your rights because they don't want kids to wear t-shirts. You know, they're going to take away all your guns because they don't want kids wearing t-shirts with guns on them. Okay? And then the PC brigade is there saying, oh, you shouldn't have guns on t-shirts. Of course, they never explain why you shouldn't have guns on t-shirts. So, you know, it's flip sides of the same coin, really. It's just usually the terrorist angle, the ones who are using fear more than guilt, is the right wing, the conservatives, because part of the whole problem with being a conservative, I'm not one, is fear of the unknown. There's a lot of fear that is embedded in conservative thinking, political conservativeness, because, you know, it's all about being afraid of change and things being different than what they are now, and people behaving in different ways, and people doing things that they aren't understanding of. You know, it's the whole conservative mindset is based around fear. So if you want to kind of understand how people can use information, false information generally, or exaggerated or manipulated information, just look to Fox News and the conservatives. It's a perfect example of, that's all political though, but I mean it's related. You see, the reason why it is an interesting tool for study when it comes to fear, psychological fear from information, is just how worked up people can get over the stupidest things based entirely on the rantings and ramblings of conservative mouth-breathing talking hats like people I'm not going to name because they might sue me for calling them terrorists, but you know who I'm talking about. They sell their books and they do their talk shows and they do their video or their series on Fox News and make a ton of money off of scaring people. Now, how that relates to horror as a genre it's again, it's just part of that same idea, the concept of using information to scare people. In that case, it's more about what they're scaring you about, things that are going to happen and things that could happen, which is where it all comes down to. That's the secret behind it, is that when you want to scare people with information, it's all about making them think something is going to happen. It's all about creating anticipation for something that they don't want to happen, something that they're going to be scared of. So the information that you could use to scare a player in a game is that there could be something around that can kill them, but they're not sure. That's where you use information plus the unknown, lack of information, and doubt together. Okay, let's create a scenario to bring this all together and show you what I mean. It's a game like Outlast or something, which I'm going to be finishing up this series with an analysis of Outlast. And not necessarily that game specifically, just in that particular, the survival horror genre. And what's the information? They're in a dark area, so they can't see very well. That's the unknown. And you use a sound, a voice perhaps, that lets them know that there's somebody around. There could be somebody around, close by. But you use things like echoey effects to make it sound like it could be closer, but it could be further away. Okay? So you've created a scenario where you've given them some information. Somebody is talking where they can hear it. But you're using doubt because they can't tell exactly where the sound came from because of the effect of the walls and whatnot. So they're not sure how close these people talking or this person talking is. They know there's somebody around, but they don't know where they are. And they're not sure that they're actually in any danger. So you've created a scenario where information has led to doubt, and because it's dark and hard to see, and they're not sure what the hell is actually going on, they don't know. So information, doubt, unknown, combining together to create fear, anxiety of what might happen, potential for things to go horribly wrong. Okay? Another way you can use information is to blatantly show them something. Okay? And this can be a taboo subject like incest and necrophilia and cannibalism, all that sort of jazz. Mutilated corpses when used properly. Having monsters, jump scare type things to scare people. Having, people bust through walls, suddenly appear in doorways. That's also information. You're showing them something. So you can use that to scare them. But then the problem with that kind of information is that you are, in different ways, showing them a mutilated corpse, okay, or just a body part, or just some blood. You're better able to maintain fear that way. Because if all they see is the result of something that happened, well, they don't know exactly what happened, they don't know who exactly did it. So you're maintaining the fear, because you're also, in addition to giving them information, all you're doing by giving them information is maintaining that doubt and unknown. Because for every answer you're giving, all you're doing is raising more questions. Okay? If you show them a trail of blood going someplace, they know that something has gone that way that was bleeding. Or somebody was drugged that way that was bleeding severely or even dead. So all you've done is created a question of what happened, what went that way, and oh fuck, am I going to have to go that way too? Yes, I am. Oh, hell. Okay? The information has just been used to create more fear. Because you didn't really answer any questions for them, all you've done is raise more concerns. Whereas if you have something pop out in front of them like a monster or a killer or anything like that, you've taken the unknown away and doubt. Now they know something is going to hurt them, which creates a different kind of fear and anxiety. That's fight or flight, panic. And that is also effective in small doses, in my opinion. But you can't maintain that for long periods of time because it's not over. After a while, you get numbed to it and you're not really scared by it anymore, generally speaking. So, my preference will always be to use information in ways that messes with them and creates more doubt and more unknown for them, more concerns for them, than it answers things. That's my feeling, is that showing them something but not answering any questions when you do is the best way to use information to scare people. Okay, in The Shining, for example, towards the end of the movie, which is where most of the stuff happens, you are kind of, what's her name? The wife's name. Wendy. She is bombarded by all sorts of crazy shit. The flood of blood out of the elevator, the strange, dressed up people and doing weird sexual things. Halloran has been murdered in the entryway. She's just bombarded by all this crazy shit that's happening, but there's no answers. It's just more craziness built up, one thing after the other. There's no justification for it or answers given. There's no knowledge imparted. It's just things there to fuck with you. And none of it is actually dangerous. It's just freaky, which is what makes it effective. You know that the actual danger is Jack. Jack Torrance, right? Jack Nicholson, didn't he play Jack Torrance? Wasn't it Jack? It's been a while since I've watched that movie. I'm pretty sure the character is Jack. Jack Nicholson played him, and I think the name of the character was Jack. Either way, it doesn't matter. You know who and what I'm talking about if you've seen the movie. Okay? You as the audience, and Wendy herself, knows that he is the actual threat. And that's where the core fear is. This is known. This is a fact. That he's the actual threat. So in the midst of her running through this hotel, then suddenly she's bombarded by all this crazy unknown stuff. She's being given information, but it is completely random, bizarre, unhelpful, threatening, frightening information. That all it does is make the panic even worse. So that's a way that you can use information that is panic-based, like there's a madman with an axe on the loose, and then add further information that is sensory overload. Okay? Because, again, it does not help her at all. All it does, or the viewer, all it does is fuck with you and her. It's a distraction and just a freak out that does absolutely nothing to take away from the real threat of Nicholson's character running around with an axe trying to kill her. So that is an effective use of information in both a capacity that is overt threat and creating that doubt and anxiety based around the revealing things but not answering any questions based on it. That's how you can do both. Alright. But again, my preference is always going to be for the revelation of things that only leads to more doubts and concerns and unknown things. So I think that wraps up this video on the known. And I guess I'll finish up with my usual YouTube stuff. Give me that upvote, if you will. It's appreciated, always. Leave any questions, comments you might have. If you have any other topics you would like me to cover, I'm going to do my 13 Days of Halloween type of thing leading up to Halloween. And then I'll do any suggestions or other topics you'd like me to cover after the holiday sometime. And negativity, I prefer you to leave that out of the comments, because this is supposed to be about learning and entertainment and having fun and, knowledge. And I just prefer you to keep your negativity to yourself. But if you do try to troll me, I will give you my traditional warning now about trolling me. I will fuck with you just as bad or worse right back. So try me at your own risk. I don't suffer fools gladly. And trolls even less. Okay? Go ahead and subscribe so you know when I upload new videos. I do a variety of different things, but the only way you'll know when I upload something new is to subscribe. I'll go ahead and add in here, please come check out my website. That's appreciated. Sign up, chit-chat with me and other people that might happen to come to the site. It's a forum. I have a variety of topics represented on the forum. You'll just have to come and check it out. And lastly, that just kind of brings me to my usual wrap-up. Thank you one last time for watching. I appreciate your viewership. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.